I was talking to one of my spawn the other day.
Yes.
Because they can talk now.
It's bound to happen eventually.
He said, Daddy, I know you're being sarcastic.
Oh, wow. How old is he?
He's 6. And I said, how do you know I'm being sarcastic? And the little shit says,
Because your lips are moving.
because your voice changes. And I laugh, and I then proceeded, we were in the car, I then proceeded to spend the next 30 minutes in the car with me saying the same sentence, the same words,
Sure.
with different inflections and different tones, followed by me asking him if he thought I was being sarcastic or not. And as it turns out, the kid is really good at figuring out sarcasm.
He's like an AI. He's like sarcasm, not sarcasm.
Pretty much. Exactly. So finally, I was like, buddy, why are you so good at this? And there's like a long pause, and I was like, it's your mother, isn't it? And he's like, no, it's both of you. And I was like, all right.
Quiet, please.
Something about the apple and the tree.
4,
I don't know.
3, 2.
Company presents a truly terrible podcast. Welcome to Nonsense Season 2, Episode 35. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Jiddle.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, we'll look at fixing climate change the easy way.
Oh, yeah, just turn the thermostat down.
It's World Plant-Based Burger Day.
Oh, boy.
Let's honor the creation of burgers that make everyone happy, including our planet. In addition, plant-based foods limit the dangers of pandemics. They're also a healthier option to feed the world, lowering risks of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. I had one today, and it was delicious.
I'm a fan, but I can't reverse sear a plant burger. It's not going to work.
I had leftover sourdough roll that I made. I make rolls for like
you
buns.
make delicious rolls.
But even better, when I make them for buns, I put in not only the regular sourdough, which leavens itself, but I also put regular commercial yeast in.
Sure.
So I just get this explosion, this puff of air.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely fantastic.
Great. Now I'm hungry. Good luck with the show.
Wrap that around a plant-based burger and put some peppercorn sauce on that and a few other things, some fresh ground pepper. It was really good.
Butter, pate, some lox.
Today is also the National Day of the Republic of China, referred to as 1010, Double 10 Day, or Double 10th Day. Following the consequence of the Chinese Civil War, the ROC government lost control of mainland China to the Chinese Communist Party and retreated to the island of Taiwan in December of 1949. This National Day is now mainly celebrated in the Taiwan area, thus the name Taiwan National Day is also used by some groups. Happy Taiwan Day.
True story. My first time in Taiwan, I was with one of our listeners, and I land in Taiwan. I'm in the cab going to the hotel. I fall asleep because I was awake on the flight, whatever, jet lagged. I fall asleep and I wake up stuck in traffic in the cab, and I look down at the end of the street and I see trucks with missiles driving by at the end of the street. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? I thought I was going to Taiwan. Like, I didn't expect this. And then I realized it was 1010.
Yeah.
And it was like their sort of, Independence Day, like their showing of military might.
Strength.
That was a nice little wake up in the cab.
By the way, compared to China, they have no military strength.
I know. They have like a wrist rocket.
If we don't protect them, they're in huge trouble. And they're literally the center of the universe technologically, so we have no choice but to protect
them. In the Netherlands, let's just tugboat both those countries closer to the U.S.
If we only could, yeah. How's your week going?
My week has been great, as always.
Yeah.
I had an experience that I don't get to have very often. As you know, I'm a bit of a nerd.
Is that true?
It is. It'll come out by episode 200.
I'm shocked.
I have always loved the quote from Arthur C. Clarke: "Any sufficiently advanced technology should be indistinguishable from magic."
Sure.
Right? I've always loved that. But I don't get to experience that very often because I'm so deep in the plumbing.
Because you know how things work.
I know how things work. So I got a sort of a taste of it when you had these explosions of LLMs and they just sort of worked. But even that wasn't like it didn't stop me dead in my tracks.
Yeah.
This happened this past week and it was in the most interesting of ways. I spend a lot of time at my desk. I'm very picky about my screens and their orientations and my computers. Mm-hmm. Every couple of years I change it up and clean everything and just reorient it. I was doing this past week, and typically in the past what I do is I set up a program called Synergy that lets me run multiple computers from one computer. So you get sort of KVM and you get this masquerade. It's this my keyboard and mouse work across multiple machines. So you think that your keyboard's plugged into multiple machines, but it's really not.
Yeah.
I've always set this up. It was on my list to do with this new configuration on a couple new machines. Did not do this. I was 2 Macs and I was setting up the second Mac and I was like, where the hell's my cursor? I can't find it. And I realized it was on the other computer, but I didn't set anything up. It just did it on its own.
Oh, wow.
And it's this thing called Universal Connect, which has been in since Ventura. I've just never used it. And the fact that it just did it, I sat there for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just putting the mouse cursor back and forth going, wow, it works. Because I've done it before many times for years. For a decade, I've run Synergy. But the fact I didn't have to set anything up and it just worked.
I love that.
It was a very fun moment for me to remember how awesome technology can be. Anyway, that was my week.
I had that moment this morning, and it's completely your fault. I walked through the house, and I realized I don't even think about turning on lights.
It just turns on now? Yeah.
Everything happens so autumn. I walk up to my vanity in my bathroom, and the light comes on by itself, and it's like, great. Wow, this is so amazing.
Man, wait till you get to level 3 of home automation. Then shit gets real. I walk into my kitchen, and a brisket just props down right on the cutting table. Just falls out of the ceiling. Yeah, I've really taken it to the next level.
I've not gotten that far.
It's great.
Feels a little chitty bang bangish.
Whatever, it's delicious. Anyway, how about you? How's your week?
We were off last week, as you know, and I got back in town in time. We could have done the show, but I got a crown replaced.
Yeah.
So I couldn't talk, which I know is like your dream episode.
Well, that's how most of them go. I don't even hear you talk on most of these. Even when I listen back, I'm just waiting for me to talk again.
It was Parents' Weekend at my kid's college.
And?
We got to take my kid and 5 of his friends out to dinner, because we didn't know his friends. We got to meet his friends.
Yeah, sure.
And I have to say, I am beyond thrilled. He could not have fallen in with a smarter, funnier, more thoughtful group of humans. So I am kind of knocking wood because I feel extremely fortunate right now.
You still haven't gone to Chatham's Tap yet, have you? You got to go to Chatham's Tap.
There are so many places I haven't been there. I mean, there's so many places to explore.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into that, though, let's get to our headlines.
Let's do it.
Elon Musk readies the Robotaxi he's betting Tesla's future on.
Oh, boy.
Elon Musk went all in to get Robotaxis onto roads, sacrificing a widely anticipated, cheaper car, gutting teams focused on other projects and downplaying Tesla Inc.'s sales slowdown.
He's found the new snake oil, everybody. Hooray.
So when Musk finally unveils autonomous taxi prototypes later today, the chief executive officer will have a lot to prove. He's promised nothing short of a new era for transportation in which Teslas with empty driver's seats zip around with paying passengers, making money for their owners while they're asleep or at work.
The idea of sending out my EV to be an Uber and make me money while I'm just sitting on the couch watching Three's Company reruns is an excellent idea, right? I love that. The concept is great. And I especially love the idea when it was first promised a half a decade ago.
Yeah, no, about 9 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, it's closer to a decade. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But here we are in 2024, and there's now all this hype around this announcement, right? That's happening later today.
It's happening at Warner Brothers. The car is going to literally be able to navigate the empty Warner Brothers
empty lot with large rectangular buildings and well-striped roads. Impressive.
And no dogs crossing or people crossing.
Huge business. Nobody knows just how big the rideshare business at empty movie studios lots is. It's $100 billion business. This is being framed as this like new product, right? This new Robotaxi product.
Sure.
But meanwhile, he said his old product would have these capabilities by next year. Yeah. And that was over 5 years ago.
Yeah, he keeps pushing the promise down the road. But is this a new car? Is he announcing a new vehicle?
I don't know. I'll watch it with you and we'll figure it out. I'm sure it's going to be something, what can I put in this hand so that you won't remember what's in this hand over here?
Sure.
Which really means the only conclusion I can come to on this, and it's pretty simple, is that there's so many layers of stupidity in the Tesla fanboyism.
The shareholders.
That they can't all receive due scrutiny at once. Like you just can't. There's so many things to go pick and be like, this is idiotic that you believe this. And I still come back to the same thing I say on the show all the time. Tesla's got like a $780 billion market cap at the time of this recording, right?
Yeah.
That market price is worth more than the next 13 largest mainstream car companies that sell in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's fucking bonkers. It's everybody else you can think of in the U.S. Toyota, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, GM, VW, Honda, Hyundai, Ford, Stellantis, you may know as Chrysler, Kia, Suzuki, and Subaru. It's worth more than all of those combined.
Right.
On tech that doesn't work.
It doesn't make any sense. You have to be selling some serious
snake oil.
So we're going to watch the snake oil presentation later today.
100%. And I'm going to go buy one. And I'm going to ride in with my Apple Vision Pro. It'll be great.
No, you don't ride in it. You send it off to go give other people rides.
I send other people. Yeah, exactly. It has like the back of it opens up and just dumps Bitcoin right out into my fucking driveway. And I just have a big pile of Bitcoin.
But it's still going to be the owner who's responsible when there's accidents?
I have no idea. That's what's fascinating to me.
The quote unquote full self-driving, supervised. If you get into an accident, you're still responsible for it. You're the driver, the owner of the car is still responsible for it.
The pitch of Robotaxi, I mean, who fucking knows what the pitch is going to be? What if the pitch was L4 and then the human breakthrough is it just rings your phone with like a FaceTime and you've got to answer to drive your car
quickly.
You're just like home watching Three's Company, your phone, and you're like, oh fuck, L4 stopped working, you got to drive your car. And if you don't answer, it just crashes into a telephone pole and that's the end. It just says game over.
Here's the thing with the self-driving technology. It's not a giant breakthrough sort of technology. It's a million little iterative steps.
Sure.
It's a zillion little specialty situations.
The first big step I would call giant breakthrough, but you have a whole bunch of incremental improvements that you got to get to before you can unleash this thing on the world.
It's a ton of special situations.
But none of that helps juice your share price. What helps juice your share price is just to be like, look over here. In somewhere between 1 and 40 years, we're going to deliver this product.
It's not something you're ever going to say, voila, like a magician, and suddenly you have
Yes.
it. Like Waymo, you're going to have a million little tiny advancements.
I have bad news for you, sir. On my Tesla Robotaxi announcement bingo card, the middle square I have is fucking viola, because that's what he's going to do. Like, blah, blah. Look, there it is.
Viola, like the instrument?
Oh, whoops.
Voila, is that what you mean?
Voila, like the instrument. He's going to say voila. My center square in my Tesla Robotaxi bingo card is voila. It was viola, but I changed it because I realized it wasn't going to be about music.
Okay, enough of the headlines. Up next, we're going to talk about how we can fix our climate crisis easily.
So simple. You just need a stronger umbrella and thicker rain boots.
I bet that's not it.
All right. Fancy pants scientist.
Come on, let's go. Do you have the TV on at your house as you work?
Nope. I cannot have a TV on while I'm trying to do anything productive.
I have financial news on, and I have it muted.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying attention to it. And once the markets close, then I have on just regular news, and again, it's muted.
Sure.
I'm just looking for what the headlines are,
Sure.
just in case there's something big that happens in the world. I just want something to catch my attention.
Of course.
Lately, it is an endless parade of hurricanes.
Yeah, there's one coming.
Milton, he's here.
Milton. Yeah, oh, he's pissed too.
I promise, by the way, if you're listening to this episode, this is not going to be about weather. It's a little bit going to be about weather, but it's not going to be like weather like we did before.
This is a Jeff-hosted segment. I promise you it's going to be about fucking weather.
There's going to be some weather in
If it was me doing it, we'd be talking about trash. I'm the trash guy. You're the weather guy. Perfect.
And because it's moving slowly,
Yeah.
the part that's over the land, of course, is not
Yeah.
pulling water from the ocean, but the part that's still over the ocean is still pulling up fresh
Yeah.
water into it. We just finished another hurricane. Well, we didn't finish it. We're still
Sure.
in the throes of all the damage of Helene.
Yeah.
But that was an enormous amount of water.
I mean, it comes up into the air and then comes back down.
Thank you.
That's my understanding.
You could be a meteorologist. I don't know
I'm
why you
halfway
sell
there.
yourself
Yeah,
short.
yeah.
You're on your way.
I wish.
All right, let's get to the topic at
Yeah,
hand,
Milton.
though, which is
Milton.
Milton is not the topic of hand.
Oh.
But I do think we should talk about, as much as people talk about it, I still don't think people are talking about it enough, climate change.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me everything you know about climate change and how has it shown up in weather.
I'm no expert, right? But my understanding is it's like the moon landing, faked in Hollywood.
It's faked out in Burbank. There's a warehouse.
Some back lot. Yeah, back in Burbank. Yeah. There's a warehouse and they just turn the heat up. They're like, it's really fucking hot out. Wait, the question, sorry, I had to think of that joke while you were talking. The question is what? Climate? You want to know what I know about climate change?
What you know about climate change, yeah.
Well, shit's gotten a lot hotter since we started making stuff.
We're starting in what year? Go back. When does this really begin?
Industrial Revolution, like 1800s, 1700s, 1800s, something like that.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we started building shit and really consuming fossil fuels,
That's it.
I think that was kind of the beginning because you're taking a whole bunch of stored carbon that's been in the rock for a long time and you're converting it from stored carbon into carbon dioxide, which then is a giant blanket, and that blanket makes us warmer, and then this vicious cycle begins.
It also corresponds around the time we begin factory farming.
Yeah.
Same timeline.
Kind of same thing, right? Like Industrial Revolution, like the Earth had millions of years to sort of figure out a balance, and it took millions of years to get it to some level of balance. You had some seasonal changes, but it got to within this, fairly tight range that allowed us and everything around us to evolve into our current state of being.
Yeah.
And then we came along and we're like, hold our beer. And then as we just started burning a bunch of shit and like you said, like industrial agriculture, burning fossil fuels, that's changed the environment around us. And then the environment's like, oh, okay, we're now going to be different. And that's why I think you see bigger temperature swings and more weather. And
very, very subtle differences in temperature make a massive difference to our climate.
define subtle.
If you change the surface temperature of the Atlantic Ocean by 1/4 of a degree, you will have a very active hurricane season.
Well, okay, so you're saying subtle because to most people, right, 1/4 of a degree is like undetectable.
Right. I dive in, I can't feel that.
You haven't met my wife. Fuck. If the bedroom is off by 1/4 of a degree, she's freezing. And then I'll be like, I don't know about you, but my Nest only measures in fucking round numbers.
Single degrees,
I set it up 1 degree, and then an hour later, she's like, oh, I'm so hot. Why is it so hot in here? I'm like, what is your window? Like, I used to think it was 72 to 76 was the joke, and I'm telling you that's way too wide. That is the Grand Canyon of temperature swings for her.
But none of this has to do with climate change.
I was trying to get you off weather. Jesus, I thought bed talk would be better than weather. Here we go, back to weather. Sorry, everybody, I tried.
What are some indicators of climate change that we actually have climate change?
Like more extreme weather?
Rising temperatures, extreme weather, absolutely. Melting glaciers and sea ice. You see all the pictures of the giant sheets of ice calving into the ocean. Obviously, that's a problem. Ocean acidifications.
But it's not just, my understanding is...
I'm thinking things that are measurable.
But it's also not just that it's warmer, it's that you get these bigger temperature swings too, right? Like you end up having like warmer summers and colder winters.
Well, and you also have more droughts. That's a big thing that affects California. You have longer droughts. amounts.
That sounds bad.
I want things that science can measure, that you cannot,
Sure.
It doesn't matter who you are in the world. You look at a thermometer, it tells you what the temperature is. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, your political beliefs are, what you think about this or that. The temperature is the temperature. So I'm looking for things that are unquestionably happening to the world in terms of change.
Yeah, something that's quantifiable that you would think anybody that can read a ruler would agree with.
Shifting plant and animal habitats, rising sea levels, things we can measure.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do measure those things. There's still plenty of people that don't believe them, but okay.
But how can you not believe it if you can actually you can see it with a measurement change?
Well, you believe it's
you can say you don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a conspiracy. Here we are. I understand the logic you're putting down. I'm just saying a whole bunch of people are just like, yeah, I don't believe it. I'm like, but the data. And they're like, no, that's big weather telling you that. They want to sell more umbrellas. Yeah. Don't you know about the umbrella conspiracy? Fuck, really? Okay. Tell them about the umbrellas.
Then there is this effect of why the Earth is getting hotter, and that is known as the greenhouse effect.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell me about the greenhouse effect?
I think most folks hear the greenhouse effect and they think one of a couple things. One, either that's bad, or two, that was a thing in the 90s that we just don't talk about anymore. I think a lot of folks come to those.
What?
Yeah, no, a lot of people really do. Because we used to talk a lot about greenhouse gases in the 90s, and then they're like, oh, well, we don't talk about that anymore. And I was like, well,
why don't we talk about that anymore? Why would we stop talking about that?
We did take CFCs out of just about every aerosol can made.
So
we did actually.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because those are contributing greenhouse gases, right? As it turns out, there's a whole bunch of gases.
Those are ozone affecting gases.
Ozone depletion, right? They deplete the ozone. So my understanding is that this little rock of ours has just happened to evolve a I'll say, quote, right amount of gases, specifically carbon dioxide, that has allowed us to
exist.
Come to be. Yeah, to exist.
You have to have a certain amount of the greenhouse effect or we all freeze and die.
Yeah, you need a blanket. It's basically a big blanket. What's fascinating about this, and I think I have the big picture stuff right, I'm sure I'm wrong about the specifics. The vast majority of the energy from the sun passes through that gas, right? Because it's all very short wavelength energy that comes out of the sun, passes through it, hits the earth, warms the earth up, and then there's this like long wave radiation that tries to then bounce off the earth.
Bounce back to get off the earth.
That's what gets trapped, right? That gets trapped by this blanket.
Not all of it, but a certain percentage of it.
But like most of it, like 2/3 of it.
Depending upon how thick that greenhouse layer is.
So if you fuck with that layer,
it determines whether or not it goes out. Yeah.
Exactly. That's going to change how much heat escapes. And then the earth itself has components that, like the actual rock itself, not the atmosphere, has certain components that are giant heat sinks. Like I think the ground takes up a certain amount. I think the ocean takes up most of it. Like the ocean is basically a gigantic heat sink that's designed to give you some stability.
Go back in time. When do you think we discovered that there was a problem here with the greenhouse? We didn't have the word to call it the greenhouse effect, but when do you think we started noticing that there was this effect of trapping heat on the earth?
I mean, I'm assuming it was like in the late 70s when you're coming out of Studio 54, just high off your ass. You're like, oh, it's hotter out here. What happened?
Is that right?
No, what? This is a couple hundred years we've sort of known about this, right? I want to say like 1800s sometime we've started to identify that the earth seems to be trapping something with this construct of greenhouse gases. And then
we began noticing it in the 1850s.
1850s, okay. So
we've known about this thing for a really long time.
But then it didn't change much. Like we didn't really do much to affect it until, I'm going to guess, early 1900s-ish, like when we started making shit. And once we started making shit, we put enough of these greenhouse gases out there to change the makeup of the atmosphere. And then we were like, oh, this looks worse. This looks bad.
Well, or at least the measurement happened in the early 1900s, but the actual change may have begun even just before that.
Even sooner?
There's a reason we started measuring.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one of the great things I love about science is there's always some egghead somewhere that'll measure everything and track it and put it into a graph. And that's just what I love.
No, that's baseball fans.
Those guys too. I was including them. I was trying to give them some props.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of friends.
Who's the first U.S. president who was warned about the dangers of global warming?
Ooh, that's a great question. Taylor.
Zachary Taylor, yes. No.
And then he said, fuck it, I'll eat these bowl of cherries. What could go wrong? Is that how it went down?
Pretty close.
All right. I'm no U.S. scholar. I don't know. Taft.
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Johnson, that late?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we discovered it in the 1850s, but the first president warned of the dangers of it, Lyndon Johnson.
That's pretty nuts.
We're pretty slow, apparently, at becoming alert to the problem.
You want to tell him? I don't want to fucking tell him. You tell him. I'm not going to tell him.
He's going to be pissed.
I'm not going to fucking tell him.
And Johnson, that guy's got a temper. I'm not going to tell him.
He gets pissed. Why? We should have told the guy in the wheelchair. Why didn't we do that? At least he couldn't chase us. That's terrible. It's not awesome.
Yes. So let's step back. What are the greenhouse gases? What gases do you think are causing this blanket to get thicker?
This is like bingo. I don't know. I know carbon dioxide is on there. That's the big one.
That is in fact the big one. And that's produced by burning fossil fuels. You burn oil, coal, natural gas.
Sneezing.
And then do the other things. You start doing deforestation. You start taking away plants.
Sure.
And now you don't have anything to eat that carbon dioxide that can convert that carbon dioxide into oxygen. So you get more and more of it.
Yeah, spiral effect. You've got methane in there, right? Which I think the biggest producer of that is basically like livestock and landfills.
Livestock, rice cultivation.
Rice cultivation, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'd know that. Methane. Interesting. Okay.
The first one, you're right on the livestock is a huge contributor.
It's the largest contributor of methane, right? And I think the second largest is trash.
Literally cow burps in the Western world that is the largest contributor to methane production.
Which is fascinating to me because the vast majority of those cows are female cows, and I've been with my wife now for 20 years. I've never seen her burp once.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't understand how do you not burp? And I'm just convinced whenever she's by herself, she's just like, blah,
just one long.
Just one long.
That's what
she's been saving it up. It's just one long burp ad nausea, ad infinitum. Ad infinitum? You're the Latin guy.
Ad infinitum.
Ad infinitum. Yeah, that one. Okay, so then you got methane. Then there's some nitrogen, like nitrous oxide or nitrogen.
Oh, bingo! You did it. Nitrous oxide. You're exactly right.
I knew
that comes from agriculture primarily.
From ag, right? Which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Now, wait. I'm going to show my ignorance here. Nitrous oxide is also a whippet.
It's also what?
The whippet. What's in like the whip. It's the gas they use in whipped cream, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know if that's the case.
Is it nitrous oxide is a sleepy time gas? Wee, a little high.
And that's in whipped cream? I didn't know that was in whipped cream.
Isn't that what they use in whipped cream?
I don't drink. I mean, when do you get whipped cream? I never get whipped cream. I get my Shake Shack shake without the whipped
nitrous
cream.
oxide. Nitrous oxide is the gas used in whipped cream.
And so do you get the sleepy time from eating the whipped cream?
No, you just have to inhale the gas. You've never heard of a whippet?
Your dentist is using the nitrous oxide, probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's usually pretty high when I'm there. It's called a whippet. A whippet is inhaling the nitrous oxide out of the can, of whipped cream. Yeah, you don't. I mean, allegedly, you don't turn it upside down. You just inhale the gas. I've never done one, but you just inhale the gas out of it, and you get your
right side up.
You get your nitrous oxide right side up. Yeah, that's the opposite upside down. That's my understanding of a whippet.
I've never heard this before.
Really?
But you know what's cool is you turn the can upside down, you get this delicious
whipped cream. Yeah. See, this is why you and I are both fat as shit.
Why would you waste that? Why would you waste that?
Well, I can get high, or I can have a sundae. You're like, give me the fucking sundae.
Exactly.
Give me the fucking sundae.
100%. We all have our different vices, and man, mine's gonna be
For me, it's the sundae. Yeah. Okay. So we got methane nitrous oxide. Oh, we said it earlier. CFCs,
fluorinated gases,
whatever that means.
Refrigerants, fire suppressants, propellants. You're exactly right.
All those things. Those have got to be the tops, right? Do I miss one that's in the top?
That's pretty much it. I mean, there's just an excessive concentration of those gases in some combination are what are causing the blanket to be thicker. So you cause climate change,
which is bad,
causing the rise of sea levels, extreme weather events, and biodiversity loss. You got all those things happening.
It's kind of like a really boring modern version of Weird Science. Remember the movie Weird Science?
Yeah, sure.
Where they make the woman and they give her giant breasts.
Yeah.
This is like that, except we're making hurricanes. Same.
You're making hurricanes. You're killed.
This is the sequel. Oh my God. That movie will do $18 at the box office. Weird Science 2, The Making of Milton.
Of Hurricane Milton.
Give it bigger wins.
If we continue with life as usual, if we do not change our ways, if we continue with our heads buried in the ever-heating sand, we're heading for climate disaster.
Can you say that? I think we're already in climate disaster.
Well, yes.
Past tense.
If we don't do something about it, however, the disaster is going to be, Earth is going to become uninhabitable.
To me, this math is pretty easy. The best day to do something about it was yesterday. The second best day is today. The third best day is tomorrow. Choose.
The best day might have been 50 years ago, but yeah, sure.
The point of the analog is that you can't go back in time. Today's the best day to do it. Tomorrow, sure, but it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse.
We got to get on this at some point, which is why I wanted to bring this to your attention.
I've never heard of it.
This is not a political show. I always try not to do anything politically related on this show. And if you will excuse me for just a second, I'm going to say something sort of political, and then you're going to see. I'll fix it when I finish this thought. Can you predict with any accuracy someone's position on climate change by their political affiliation?
I mean, I don't think I have to predict it. I think the numbers. There's there's a corollary there.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not just climate change, right? I think you've got
science in
there's
general.
a camp of people, yeah, exactly, that believe in science. There's a camp of people that don't believe in science. So they believe in a bunch of, I don't know, conspiracy theories of the Illuminati, the fucking stonecutters, whatever the hell it is. That's not science.
Even before all the conspiracy theory stuff,
Yeah.
the Republican Party in this country was the country that was not thinking that humans caused climate change.
Sure.
Am I right? Is that
yes.
your experience of it?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting set up for something. I don't know what's going to happen.
You are not being set up for anything. There is a very small share of Republicans who say climate change and extreme weather are having any significant impact on their own communities. They just don't see it.
Yeah.
My guess is they don't live in North Carolina.
See, here's the thing. There's no area, especially in the U.S. What area in the U.S. is not affected by climate change? Like really adverse
it's
events?
more subtle. If you live in North Carolina right now, you're going, holy cow, what in the world is going on? Nobody gets hit by hurricanes like they get hit by hurricanes.
But I think folks have gotten really good at explaining it away as like, oh, well, it just happens every now and then in an earthquake. My grandfather told me about a hurricane that happened 50 years ago that was really like,
Sure.
to them, it's just like this normal thing.
Hurricanes are a normal thing.
Exactly.
And big hurricanes are a normal thing. It's the frequency that is not
And
normal.
I think that's the problem, because now you have to be able to look at a graph and understand basic data. And you get a lot of folks that don't care to and haven't. So that they don't see it that way. They can't just look at the hurricane and go, oh, this is bad. Something here is problematic. Or they just go, well, stuff gets hotter. Some years it's hotter. I remember in 1976, it was really fucking hot. And it's like,
oh, you're right. And there's snow in their front yard. So they say, where's this crazy global warming thing?
like you have this volatility, but if you look at the data, you can draw a fucking line through the volatility.
Right.
You see that it goes up and to the right.
Right.
So, unfortunately, when it comes to, I'm going to be very selective here and say when it comes to just logic and science and just believing in observation of, the scientific method, there's a bell curve. And a lot of those folks are either at the top of the bell curve, thank you, JD, or to the left. And that's problematic, but it is a distribution. It is a bell curve. It's folks just like, yeah, no, I don't believe it. I'm like, you don't believe the 1,200 scientists that have spent the last 40 years of their life trying to make this a thing? Like, no, I don't believe it.
Because they'll point to the 3 who are shills for big oil.
They're not even shills. They're fucking chiropractors.
Sure.
They're not even shills. You're like, my doctor told me not to get a vaccine. Your doctor corrects your back.
Right.
Get fucked.
As if there is any equality between the two camps.
But to them there is.
I'm going to say now in support of younger Republicans are far more likely than older ones to say that human activity contributes to climate change.
Well, thanks for catching up.
But I mean, that's a positive step for our future. I think that's a good thing.
Yes. Could we hurry it along a little? We don't have 50 years for you to believe in data from a fucking 100 years ago.
Well,
get your shit together.
Now I'm going to tell you about the single biggest thing we can do to have an impact on climate change.
Don't say no beef.
That even Democrats don't want to talk about.
Don't say no beef. Don't say no beef. Don't say no beef. Don't say no beef.
What if I told you?
Oh my God, he's going to say no beef.
That the most simple, direct way
I got to go back to being a vegan. Fuck.
we can stop climate change lies in the hands of a single group of people, a single profession.
I just got good at smoking meat. I don't want to go back to tofu.
A single profession can change the world.
Plumbers.
Chefs.
Yeah, that's it. That is that really is the answer, isn't it?
Chefs are the answer. Chefs can fix this.
That really is the answer. It's that easy. Less focus on those classic protein sources, right? I think if you made that one change,
you change the world.
Which is something, this, most listeners don't. For 4.5 years, I was a pretty devout vegan.
Yeah.
And I still made great food.
Sure.
I didn't eat garbage. Well, I ate some garbage. But for the most part, it tastes great. I am convinced that the big meats of the world are the ones that put tofurkey out there, because I've never once seen...
To convince you to eat actual meat.
To eat actual meat, because that shit's
animal flesh, yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
And I've never once known a vegan who's like, oh, I love tofurkey. That's never happened. There's never been anyone who's like,
right.
If you know what tofurkey is, it's like tofu is supposed to be flavored like turkey. It just looks disgusting.
Sure.
It just tastes terrible. So I feel like it's like when General Motors bought the red car in Los Angeles to sell more buses, right? They're just like, oh, we're going to release tofurkey at a loss, $2 million every year. Everyone's like, give me the fucking turkey. It's like, big turkey. Big turkey.
Give me the real thing.
Give me the goddamn turkey.
I grew up next to Big Turkey. It's in Turlock.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. It reeks. It just is. The whole town just smells like feces.
I bet. I mean, this really is the answer, right? The answer is that.
Specifically, what we need to talk about is the humble hamburger.
Yeah.
Every culture has this food that they have made out of scraps and leftovers and the things that would normally be garbage, the things that would normally be refuse.
Yeah.
And they figure out how to make this a source of calories that is edible, consumable. They work on it and they put effort into it, and it's the cheapest junk that you can but we have a lot of it.
Yep.
And so by sheer force of experimentation and focus, focus, they can turn that food into something
Sure.
desirable, something exalted,
Yeah.
even something beloved.
Delicious.
That's the hamburger.
I thought that was a pitch for Sizzler.
Yes, it is. Sizzler's gone. I think they're bankrupt.
That's why. That was their pitch. We take the worst garbage. We make it into something that's palatable.
Think about how many hamburgers get consumed every day on this in the Western world.
Fuck, I do at least 6 myself.
It's a lot. If you could change just that, the vast impact you could have on climate change.
It's interesting that you pick hamburgers. That's, I think, the easiest one. I actually think that's the absolute easiest one to change.
Yeah.
You can make a hamburger with no meat that tastes very much like a hamburger, has the same mouthfeel as a hamburger.
Impossible and Beyond.
Impossible and Beyond have both done a great job.
Yeah, and they're getting better because they treat it as an iterative product.
Yeah.
So they just keep changing the formula to improve it and to improve
Just
it.
keep making it better.
Currently, farmed cattle alone weigh nearly 10 times as much as all wildlife mammals combined.
Wow.
Globally, meat eating is on the rise.
Wow.
As a planet, we're getting worse, not better.
Yeah, that's a function of richness too, I think.
Correct. As we all start to get more wealthy, we all want sources of protein. If we all suddenly stopped using all fossil fuels, we would only slow, not stop climate change.
Okay, that's a tall order.
We would still push global temperatures over 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century.
But if we stopped eating meat entirely, what happens?
Cattle is the biggest culprit.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Don't eat beef.
It is the thing even the Democrats don't want to talk about.
Nobody wants to talk about
And
it.
you aren't stopping climate change unless you talk about
Fucking delicious.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it. What do I have to do? Only one brisket a week?
it. 83% of our farmland is used for livestock, pasture, and fodder crops.
83% of our land or of our farmland?
Of our farmland.
Farmland. Okay, that's better.
It is 26% of the Earth's entire land.
26% of the planet that's not covered in water
Correct.
is used for cattle.
Livestock.
Or for animals.
Specifically.
For livestock. I find that hard to believe.
Both pasture and fodder crops.
Sure.
Because you've got to grow all this stuff so that you can keep those animals alive.
Oh, I see.
We talk about overpopulation.
I see, okay.
First thing we ought to address in overpopulation is overpopulation of all those animals.
Well, yeah.
The amount of energy and effort required to raise them to the point where you can eat them is what the problem is.
You are going to get a very nasty voicemail from my wife later today when I'm going to be like, well, we're going to veganism. And she's like, get the fuck out of the house.
Meat and dairy production account for 27% of global freshwater consumption.
Wow.
Those cows need a lot of water.
That's a lot.
And by the way, the problem isn't just meat, it's dairy. It's both. If you think you're helping by being a vegetarian and eating lots of dairy products, cheese, milk, all those things,
Sure.
they contribute too.
Well, you're still helping. You're just not helping as much.
Correct. And this is going to be ultimately the point that I'm driving toward is reduction, not necessarily elimination. Reduction will help enormously, but I'll get to that in a second. Think about a kilogram of steak, 2.2 pounds.
Okay.
A cow uses 25 kilograms of grain
Okay.
and 15,000 liters of water to create a kilogram of steak.
Kilograms, liters, what are you? What kind of shill are you? Who are you shilling for today? The EU? 15,000 liters of water sounds like a lot to me. Divide by what, 3.5?
Think about what a 2-liter bottle of soda looks like.
Of course, you got a 2-liter soda.
Now imagine 7,500 of those.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for dividing by 2.
That's a lot of water to get you 2.2 pounds of steak.
That's okay. That's a sitting for me. I can do that. How about this? What if you said, okay, look, eat as much steak as you want. We don't care. But for every kilogram of steak you eat, you have to consume 15,000 liters of water.
Liters of
in
water.
between. Like that's your limiting factor, right?
That would slow you down for
We'd
sure.
all be super hydrated. That's for sure. I'll just be constantly peeing. I'm just trying to think of a way that you can meter this.
If we used all the crops that we grow to feed livestock,
Yeah.
we could feed another 3.5 billion people easily.
I believe that. What I make for my barbecues in the summer. Oh, who wants some smoked jasmine rice?
I actually like jasmine rice.
Been on the smoker for 12 hours. It's so tender. I should invite a bunch of people over like I do for barbecues.
For jasmine?
Not tell them and just have it just be like the stuff you feed to the cows.
Yeah.
It's just be like shitty corn and like rice or whatever, just all smoked.
Raising meat and dairy causes as much greenhouse gases as all ships, planes, trains, and cars combined.
So all travel of things, of people, of goods, of things, every fucking Taylor Swift flight, all added up is less than just the stuff needed to raise livestock.
Yes. All those planes that you fly on. Yes. Add them all up. There's more greenhouse gases created from raising meat and dairy.
Okay, well, I don't know if people are going to be able to hear you talk over the sound of me weeping over here, but sure, let's keep going.
If you could, in the blink of an eye, make all of our farm animals destined for food disappear, food-related greenhouse gas emissions would drop by 63%.
2/3.
That's a lot.
Sure.
But if you reduce the animal protein from the world's diet, the cost of feeding all of us us declines dramatically. And that's an important part of this. In addition to saving the planet climate-wise, you will also make it possible for all of us to eat with no additional cost.
Okay, if you do this thought experiment, you remove the meat, the livestock from the food chain, I'm assuming you have to make up for some of that with another high protein source, right? You can't just grow all corn.
Correct.
How does that look from a water consumption perspective? I'm assuming it's still way less. Like if you want to grow a bunch of peanuts or soy.
75% less, something
way
like
less,
that.
right?
It would stop us from clearing all this new farmland that we need to raise these new animals because we're all becoming meat eaters. All that clearing has really sped up climate change.
So let me just get this straight. So now when I go to like Whole Foods in this world, there's going to be a counter with a guy behind it. And I'm going to be like, ooh, how much for the prime corn? That prime corn looks amazing. Oh, is that, look at the marble on that cauliflower.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Is that Kobe cauliflower?
Is that from Japan?
Is that Wagyu cauliflower?
Is that the stemless kind? What is that? No?
Estimates vary, but studies suggest that livestock production, particularly beef, contributes to roughly 20% of total greenhouse gas emissions, which is
a lot.
The largest contributor to climate change.
That's a lot.
Is reducing your intake of meat better for the environment? Without question, it is undeniably yes.
Yeah.
It would use less land, it conserves more water, and produces less greenhouse gases. Go all the way to a vegan diet, and you'd save approximately 75% of these things compared to omnivorous diets. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Electric cars are cool, but reducing meat and dairy consumption is the single most impactful thing you as an individual can do to stop climate change.
So what we need then, if you really want to affect change,
so there's really only one way to convince the world to reduce its meat and dairy consumption.
Yeah.
At least that I can think of. I can't think of another way.
Make them all buy it at McDonald's where it's terrible.
Make non-animal proteins and fats taste better.
Yeah, I think it's more than just taste better. I think taste better is the first big step.
You aren't getting there unless they taste as good or better than their counterparts.
For sure. It doesn't matter if they're cheaper, more accessible, more shelf stable, all of that, it's secondary.
It makes no difference if it doesn't taste good.
There are people working on this. It never seems to get the scale. I mean, Impossible and Beyond are probably the best two examples of this so far.
Right. And what I'm going to say here is that we all know how to fix this problem. And so this is a call to not the big companies like Impossible and Beyond. They have started the process. Absolutely, they've started the process. This is a call to the chefs of the world, amateur and professional.
Yeah.
All that energy and effort that you put into learning how to cook animals perfectly and to make them as tasty as possible, divert at least some of that effort into making plant-based foods as tasty as possible.
Yeah.
Animal-based food has inertia because we've been doing it for so long. People have been perfecting those recipes for thousands of years. Plant-based proteins and fats don't have any level of that push.
Yeah.
You got to get the chefs on board here. The chefs are the one who can change what happens to our planet climate-wise.
I mean, it is chicken and egg, right? The chefs are going to make what the people want. The people are going to want what the chefs make. So it is kind of chicken and egg. You need them both to move in lockstep.
I need the chefs to experiment and start and try new things, and both amateur and professional. I need you all to be focusing on how to make your recipes with plant-based food. Get in the kitchen, figure out how to make a Beyond Burger, an Impossible Burger, whatever brand you prefer. Figure out how to make that burger irresistible. Put your effort into that.
So what's interesting to me about that, I don't disagree with you really at all. I certainly agree with you. I do think the approach, though, from my experience, has been, it's much harder, I don't want to say impossible, but it's much harder to achieve the replication of an existing meat product, right? If you're trying to fulfill the same thing, as opposed to creating a new thing that might fill the same hole in terms of eating. It's a lunch product, a dinner product, a breakfast product, or whatever, but isn't like a hamburger. Like I think it's really hard to make a hamburger, as you well know, that's a ground up thing that's not based on meat, because that's what works with meat, right? The meat parts you grind up. I still make a quote unquote hamburger. It's really more of like, I guess, a hamburger adjacent sandwich that is like a replication of a hamburger, but it's not a hamburger. Like I use a portobello cap as the meat. I use a tofu as the cheese. I use a hummus as sort of like a mayonnaise / cheese product. The thing's delicious, right? It looks hamburger-esque because it's round, but it's not like it's like a ground. Like if I ground up all that shit and tried to make it into a patty, I don't think it'd be nearly as good.
My example would be falafel, because falafel doesn't pretend to be
Falafel's
meat.
Great. No, falafel pretends to be falafel, and it's delicious.
It's delicious, yeah. I do think with the number of amateur and professional chefs in the world who could be putting energy and effort into this, you could work on both.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just my experience has been that's harder, and then I think it's easier to become deterred if you can't create your own version of the Beyond Burger.
You don't have to create your own version of the Beyond Burger. You can start with Beyond Burgers.
Yeah.
Figure out how to make the Beyond Burger as delicious as any burger you've ever made with meat.
Just sauce.
That's what I need you to do.
Just sauce.
That's where I need you to focus.
Make a vegan sauce, put the sauce on it.
Okay.
I love it. I can literally put sauce on like a napkin and my kids will eat it. It's incredible.
Listen, it is up to those of us who have the fiscal and mental wherewithal. It is up to those of us who are amateur cooks as well for those who are professional cooks. You're the ones who can save the world.
Yeah, great. Now I need to go sit in a fucking dark room for the next 8 hours and figure out what I'm going to cook.
And go figure it out.
Think to myself.
All right, we have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Well, yeah, I was going to tell you it was a whole documentary about hamburgers, but you can't fucking say that now. That's going to be a little out of place. No, literally, what I'm going to tell you now is worse than the hamburger documentary.
Okay.
I'm going to struggle through this.
Oh, you know what I didn't tell you? 80% of the antibiotics that we create in the world are put into cows.
God damn it! I quit.
80%. And it's all prophylactic. The cows aren't necessarily sick or have any problems. We just don't want them to get problems so we can sell them off as beef.
No, I get it.
And that goes in and creates antibiotic resistance in you. Yeah. I mean, that's a horrible thing.
No, so you got this all wrong. Whenever I feel like I got like a little bit of bronchitis coming on, I just go get me some ribs.
Take a nice bite of a steak.
Just get a little antibiotics in meat form. I prefer them smoked. I prefer my antibiotics smoked. All right. Well, man, this is gonna be a hard act to follow as you tell me that I need to be a vegan.
I'm not telling you to be a vegan. I am not a vegan.
Cut back my meat usage.
I'm saying two things. Reduce wherever you can. Okay. More importantly, I'm saying you're an amateur cook, dude. Yeah. Get in the kitchen, figure this out. Make this better than a piece of meat tastes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Put in the effort that you have put into making the most amazing smoked brisket. Put that effort into figuring out how to make the plant-based stuff taste as good. You'll change the world.
So this is true. I literally last week went back and watched some of Aaron Franklin's original Barbecue with Franklin series on fucking KLRU. This is the thing that I watched that now no one's going to go watch because I'm the asshole that makes meat. So those who don't know, Aaron Franklin is, I think, probably the best brisket.
The best barbecue chef on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, definitely his brisket. His brisket is insane. He's in Austin. He did a TV show years ago on the Austin PBS station, which is called KLRU, and he makes these briskets. Sure. He sort of shows you how he does it, gives you some easy pointers. My inspiration for this was not trying to save the planet from climate change. My inspiration for this was seeing some of these ads on TV for Chipotle's Mexican brisket.
Oh, yeah?
And I went and I tried it, and it was actually not terrible. It was better than I expected. I had a pretty low bar, but it was reasonable. So I said, I want to make a better brisket than Chipotle's, which again, should not be hard for me. I should be able to do it.
Shouldn't be a hard bar, yeah.
But I've never done a Mexican brisket. And I wanted to try to do this like a chili Colorado influence. If you ever had like a chili Colorado stew, it's one of my favorite sort of Mexican dishes. Sure. So I tried to do a brisket version of that. Couldn't find anybody who had referenced making one of these, or certainly couldn't find a recipe or anything like that. But I went back and watched a handful of brisket videos, try to remind myself of different brisket options. It encouraged me to do things like a lot more trimming. I made the brisket very differently than I ever have. Of course, all of this came from a cow which consumed 15,000 liters of water. And now it's hard for me to look at a cow and not think of that.
We should have probably had a pre-production meeting this week.
No, this is good. This is much better. I'm just going to roll with this. This is great. Anyway, I just want to say that I achieved not a vegan brisket, but I took a 21-pound brisket. I trimmed off about 8 pounds of trimmings, which normally in the past I would not be that aggressive, and I'd throw that away. However, this time I did at least save it, right? So I cleaned it all up and froze it.
Because there's things you can do with it.
You can grind it up and put it into burgers, which I've never done, but I've heard is great. And the best part of this is as I'm bagging this shit up, and I'm literally putting more random bits of miscellaneous meat into little tiny baggies in my freezer, which my wife really loves. When she's going through the freezer, she's like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh, that's the trim from my Wagyu that I made 6 months ago. And she's just like, oh, fuck. Anyway, the brisket came out great. I brought it to the track where some of my teammates were racing. Everyone loved it. And in addition to the 21-pound brisket, I might have also made 12 pounds of beef ribs. Wow. So I think I've used my allocation of beef for apparently the next decade.
So when your kids wonder why there's no Hawaiian Islands anymore because they're underwater.
Totally. Anyway, so I'm really gonna try to read these scripts before I write my Have you seen or done anything good? But it was brisket and it was delicious.
Listen, you've worked really hard to make that delicious.
To ruin the earth?
Well, no, all I'm saying is, can you apply some of that energy? That's all you have to do. That's really all the chefs of the world have to do. I
don't just make meat. I mean, I do make other non-meat things.
No, of course. I need you to work on making non-animal proteins and fats as delicious as you've made animal proteins and fats.
I'd be willing to commit to at least one day a week of making an entirely animal-free meal. I think that would be at least an interesting place to start. At least start with that.
It's more important to me that not that you have one meal a week that's vegan. That's fine. That's great. Whatever. Sure. It's more important to me that you give it mind share.
Sauce.
How do we make and try and experiment and do things? How do we make this into the most irresistible food we can possibly make it into?
Sure.
Because it's the only thing that's going to save us.
Based on your data there, it is the only thing that's going to save us. Or I can just say that's all big vegetable, telling a lie. It's just big broccoli.
That's the easy way out. That's the easy
big
way
broccoli.
By the way, it's one of the things that unites Democrats and Republicans. They do not want to talk about meat.
Breakfast is tough without animal products, I've always found.
You're wrong. Beyond Sausage, the spicy is
good point.
good.
Good point.
It's
you're right.
so good.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man, some of that I've had I think is better than what it emulates.
100%. And by the way, you don't feel sick after you eat it. It doesn't sit in your stomach for 3 days.
This has been the argument for veganism. This is what got me to go try veganism, was the whole not feeling terrible. I was like, what do you mean? I eat sausage, I feel fine. Then you go, don't do that for a while, and you're like, oh, I feel infinitely better.
It's a world of difference, sure.
How weird this is. I'm not opposed to this plan. I like this plan. I'll do my best. How about you? What have you seen that is meat adjacent?
I have seen something absolutely incredible this week.
Yeah.
I don't know how to recommend this to other people, but literally before we began this recording session, I had a long video phone call with my parents who have, if you have been following their story on this program, they have moved into a senior living community.
Yep.
It's just basically...
It's camp. They're basically going to camp.
It's camp for older people. And they are living their best lives. They are having so much fun. My mom is in art class. My dad is giving piano concerts.
Oh, wow.
They are having a ball. When you get older, do not be afraid of this thing called senior housing.
Yeah.
It turns out modern senior housing is amazing. I'm knocking wood. I'm knocking on my forehead just because my sister and I are the luckiest people on the planet that our parents have their health, and they've found a home that fits them, where they have the assistance they need, that fills them with delight.
Totally.
I'm so happy.
No, these places are amazing. I personally apply every year, and they just tell me to try again next year.
My parents, along with their friends, they knew they were going to, at some point in life, possibly need a facility like this.
Yeah.
So they would go out to lunch on Sundays at all the different ones in the neighborhood.
Oh, they auditioned them all.
Yeah, they auditioned them all. So, this one is the celebrity chef. This one is the golf course. My parents are crazy. They go to exercise class every day. They never went to exercise class every day in their life. I mean, my mom belonged to a gym. My dad belonged to a gym. But it wasn't like this. They get there 15 minutes early so they can get seats in the front row.
I love it.
It's awesome. They're having so much fun. It's anyway, highly recommended.
That's fantastic. I desperately want to check out an old person's home. I just wish they'd let me in.
You won't be able to check it out yet, but eventually you and I will check it out.
This is one of the primary reasons why I'm kind to my children. They're putting daddy in a home in the Yukon, way up north, where it's super cold. Well, here's your comforter now, asshole. Those camping trips? Yeah, go enjoy the woods. Dick.
That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. It's really terrible podcast from The Awful Company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaBot, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my favorite Overcast, wherever you may get your podcast from.
Nonsense is produced using the Audur multi-track digital audio workstation. Amazing, full-featured software, free and open source. This trick where you can understand me talking while music plays underneath is done with Audur. Check it out. Special thanks to our floor director, Mark Haynes.
Thanks, Mark. We'll be here every Thursday morning for more nonsense. Please join us.
If you just project more, you'll sound like you have more energy.
Yeah, great. You know what's really brings my energy level up? Telling me that I'm killing the planet by making my meat. Yeah, my energy level's through the fucking roof. Yeah, I can't go wait to make burgers for my kids tonight while I'm just flipping the fucking burger. Oh, Jesus.